your boy Dan, aka aDrive. I'm bringing you guys a brand new Pokemon Sword and Shield video today. Today we're talking about moves and all the upgrades and buffs that a handful of Pokemon got for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now obviously this video contains some spoilers and some leaks in terms of old Pokemon and new moves, but I'm not going to cover any new Pokemon in this video. So there's not going to be any new Pokemon or any new pictures of Pokemon. It's simply going to be old Pokemon and the buffs that they received in terms of their moves. And this is really cool, man. As someone who loves competitive, it's really neat to see a lot of these Pokemon get some new buffs and some new light shit on them. So we're going to go through all of them and kind of nitpick and kind of pick out the things that I think stand out the most. So be sure to hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you guys are new. We are almost at 500,000 aDrive Army members. You guys have been killing it, man. I'm like so blown away by the support. So thank you guys for all the love. I really do appreciate it. Let me know after you watch this video which one of these buffs you're most excited for, and let's jump into things, man. So I'm gonna switch over to dark mode here so it looks a little bit better, and I'll also put the link to the Smogon thread in the description. But let's jump into it here. So we're gonna start with Venusaur and just kind of go on down the list. So Venusaur gets Weather Ball, which is really cool. I think when you look at the fact that this game is gonna really emphasize Dynamaxing and the changing of weather, that's really neat. Earth Power is also a nice pickup since it previously had to use Earthquake. Charmander, Charizard, Charizard gets Hurricane, which might be useful. Acrobatics isn't bad. Weather Ball also nice. Blastoise picking up Shell Smash, which is a pretty big one. Previously, it couldn't Shell Smash, so that's actually a really big buff. It's a naturally bulky Pokemon that should be able to utilize Shell Smash pretty well. Again, another Pokemon that gets Weather Ball, and then a couple new moves here, which I'm not really going to go too into right now. Big buff that I had predicted a while back, Butterfree does indeed get Hurricane. It gets Compound Eyes Hurricane, which is so cool. That's going to boost the accuracy from 70 to 91%, allowing it to hit incredibly hard. I have a feeling that Butterfree is going to be a completely viable competitive Pokemon, especially with its Gigantamax form, G-Max Butterfree. Pollen Puff, of course, the signature move of Ribombi, very good in VGC or doubles, allowing you to not only heal your kind of ally, but also damage your opponent. Couple little buffs for Pikachu and Raichu getting Surf, Clefable and Clefairy getting Mystical Fire. Now, for those who don't know, Hidden Power was removed from the game, so a lot of people were upset saying, oh my god, Hidden Power is gone. Pokemon like Ferrothorn are going to be busted. But as you look through the game, it's not as if Game Freak or Pokemon didn't think this through. They said, okay, we're going to remove Hidden Power, but we're going to give a lot of Pokemon that coverage options. So things like Clefable getting Mystical Fire is essentially a better Hidden Power Fire. So Clefable can all of a sudden deal with Ferrothorn. Kind of a bad example because it already learns Flamethrower, but you'll see that as we go through some of these, it actually adds up for a lot of the Pokemon getting those moves that can cover some of the things that they otherwise would cover. So it's really not that bad. Ninetales getting Mystical Fire as well. Encore, Stored Power is kind of cool. Memento's kind of nice. I'm a big Memento fan. Alolan Ninetales getting Stored Power. Arcanine getting Psychic Fangs and Play Rough. Oddish getting Leech Seed. I guess it was previously an event, so now Blossom, Vileplume can do that. Pollen Puff is cool. Baton Pass is cool. Sludge Wave is previously from a transfer. Gengar getting Nasty Plot is pretty big. And now Sludge Wave, which was previously an event. But Nasty Plot Gengar could be a massive threat. I mean, the fact that it can set up now, that could be really scary. Cloister doesn't necessarily get a good buff, but Rapid Spin was buffed. So now, for those who don't know, Rapid Spin is 50 base power, and it raises the speed of the Pokemon that uses it. So that could be really good for a Pokemon like Cloyster. Let's see here. Machamp getting Darkest Lariat, Incineroar's move, Cross Poison, not a bad option there. We see Swords Dance on Seeking, Farfetch getting Close Combat. We see Solar Blade, which isn't too great unless it's sunny out. Swords Dance on Rapidash is pretty cool. Baton Pass. I'm a big Baton Pass fan. And then Galar Rapidash getting Swords Dance as well. Onyx and Steelix getting Dragon Dance. Very cool. Psychic Fangs, another cool option. High horsepower if you don't want to run Earthquake or whatever. A single, you have to remember that high horsepower is a single attacking ground move, whereas Earthquake hits all of the field. So for VGC, oftentimes you actually want to run a single target move. Kingler getting Hydro Pump, not too big, but Hammer Arm's really cool, so it's not forced into running Superpower now, so it can actually do some big damage there. It gets Razor Shell as an alternative to Liquidation, and then again, high horsepower. Let's see here. We've got, I'm just taking a look here. Mr. Mime getting Mystical Fire, which is cool because it is now Ice and Psychic type, so now it can hit those, like I said, those Ferrothorns. Lapras getting Sparkling Aria is kind of cool. Lapras being kind of a weird Pokemon that doesn't learn Scald, which has always been annoying. All the evolutions get Weather Ball, and then we're going to see Liquidation, Mystical Fire, Electro Ball, Psychic Fangs, Crunch, Throat Chop, Solar Blade, Freeze Dry, Play Rough, Mystical Fire. So Mystical Fire for Sylveon is really big because it needs that. It normally would run Hidden Power Fire. In fact, standard Sylveon runs Hidden Power Fire a lot of the time if it's offensive, so it gets Mystical Fire. This is a really good example of them kind of covering the weaknesses there. Glaceon getting Freeze Dry is a pretty big buff. Freeze Dry is one of the best offensive moves in the game, being able to hit water type super effectively. So nice buff there for Glaceon. Snorlax picking up Darkest Lariat, Encore, Hammer Arm, nothing too crazy. Mewtwo getting Nasty Plots, a little nuts, and then Mew gets everything. Noctowl and Hoot getting Calm Mind and Plot is nice. Togekiss getting Mystical Fire again. Already got Flamethrower, so not a huge deal there. Cosmic Power on Xatu is kind of cool, especially with Magic Bounce. It can boost its defense stats. It can also Baton Pass those stats, which is very nice. We see, I guess there's some minor spoilers. I apologize there. On just the Galarian Pokemon, but Reversal, Hex, Acupressure, Assurance, Weather Ball, Mud Shot, nothing too crazy. Delibird getting Memento, Brave Bird, Weather Ball, etc. Mantine getting Hurricane, but you probably wouldn't run that. T-Tar getting Heavy Slam is kind of cool for various situations. Body Press is a really cool move. Ludicolo getting Weather Ball is a big one, allowing it to take advantage of different weathers, so you can actually use Ludicolo on a rain team, hit really hard if you don't want to run a Hydro Pump, and also if the weather changes, you can actually kind of take advantage of that. Pelipper also getting Weather Ball, so that's probably really good with its ability to set rain. Mawile getting Draining Kiss isn't terrible, but Mawile without a Mega is kind of bad. Prankster Encore Sableye is really nice though. That actually has some usefulness, and actually Helping Hand. Sableye is going to be a Pokemon that really gets nerfed without a Mega, but it does have Prankster, and Encore Helping Hand is really nice. Some other Weather Ball users, of course. We see Body Press, Heat Crash on Torkoal. We see First Impression on Flygon, another Pokemon that should have been a bug type. I don't really think Flygon's going to actually use First Impression, but kind of cool. Ninjask getting Acrobatics is nice because previously it didn't really have a good option, so now you can run a set with like Substitute and like a Lychee Berry to boost your attack. And you just sub down as they attack you, get your Lychee Berry, and then you start firing off +1 acrobatics. That actually might be a decent set in competitive. You could also Baton Pass those stat boosts afterwards to another Pokemon, so I think that could actually be really good. Crawdon getting Close Combat is pretty nuts. Glalie getting Icicle Crash, Frostlass getting Icicle Spear, Claydol with Nasty Plot, not a big deal. Some kind of little VGC buff on Helping Hand there. Lots of buffs for Solrock and Lunatone, but nothing too drastic. Jirachi getting crazy moves. We're not even going to go there. Gastrodon getting some nice buffs. Vespiquen gets massive buffs, though. Toxic Spikes is big on Vespiquen, allowing it to set up those hazards in singles. Very cool. Nothing too crazy for some of these mons. Weather Ball seems to be on everything, which is cool. Here's a big one, though. Abomasnow getting access to Earth Power, which is really cool to hit those steel types that otherwise resist its ice and grass type moves. But the big one is Aurora Veil. So now Abomasnow can actually set up Aurora Veil and its own hail. So it's essentially the new Alolan Ninetales, right? It can actually take advantage of both of those. And one thing I love is it also gets Leaf Storm. Abomasnow is known for the fact that it can, be physically offensive or especially offensive. And now it can spam Leaf Storms and then use its physical attack stat instead. So really cool there. Rotom getting Nasty Plot might be pretty insane because when you look at something like Rotom Heat, which can I'm sorry, not Rotom Heat, Rotom Wash, which can fire off Hydro Pumps pretty indefinitely and is really bulky. Using a bulky Nasty Plot set, that could actually be really scary. So Vespiquen loses Heal Order, and I think it has Roost still, though. Unfezant gets Brave Bird, Hurricane, and Focus Energy. This is actually a pretty big buff to Unfezant, a previously bad Pokemon. And the reason why it's a buff is it allows Unfezant to now set up Focus Energy, and then with its ability Super Luck, I believe, I think it gets 100% crit rate if I'm not mistaken. So that could actually be really good, because previously you had to use like Scope Lens and stuff. Musharna getting Moonblast is nice instead of Dazzling Gleam. We see a couple other things. Excadrill gets High Horsepower, which is just a single stage attack, which isn't bad. Smoothbat getting Nasty Plot. Let's take into effect that Simple gives this +4 special attack on one click on a really fast Pokemon. Timber and Conkeldurr getting Defog to remove hazards. Close Combat as well, so again, another really powerful fighting move. Normally it runs Drain Punch anyway, but options are always nice. Darmanitan, of course, getting Mystical Fire, which is really good for Galar Darmanitan. Basculin getting Psychic Fangs. Rhinoculus getting Encore. Stored Power is very cool, although I think it already had them. Some of these are like previously transfer moves that now they can get. Gothitelle is now going to have Fake Out, which is going to make it a VGC monster and Nasty Plot. Vanillux getting Aurora Veil. Again, just like Abomasnow, now you have two Pokemon that can set up Aurora Veil and set up Hail. All of a sudden, Hail has become one of the most viable things simply because Aurora Veil is so good. It's Reflect and Light Screen. And again, you have two Pokemon that can set it with one click. You don't have to have the weather already set up. So weather wars are going to be a thing. But again, don't forget that you can combat that weather by simply you know, changing the weather by Dynamaxing and stuff. So we've got Jealous in here getting Destiny Bond. Escavalier's got Close Combat, Razor Shell. I love the addition of Razor Shell, which is a water type move for Escavalier. That way, if you have a fire type switching in to try to counter the bug or steel type moves, you can catch them with a Razor Shell. Could be really cool. Haxorus getting Close Combat, which is for those steel types. Very nice if you want to hit something other than Earthquake. First impression, again, I don't anticipate it using it much, but still really cool. Some other things here, Trick Room Destiny Bond from LGM might be cool. Stored power again. Clang, Kling Clang. Unfortunately, Power Gem is not what Kling Clang needed. It really needed Earthquake, and I don't think it got it, so that's a big bummer there, I'll be honest. Braviara getting Close Combat, again, not having to rely on Superpower now, which is really good for bulk upsets. Being able to not have to lose your attack stat, you know what I mean? Durant getting First Impression might not be bad, actually, because Durant is one of those Pokemon that can really deal some serious damage. So that's actually not a bad move, and its moveset usually gives the space for it. So I think that this might be a good move. Hydreigon getting massive buffs, Nasty Plot and Dragon Dance. So all of a sudden, physical Hydreigon is a huge threat now. Especially offensive Hydreigon has always been a massive threat. We've got some Mega Horn, stuff like that on some of these mons. Nothing too crazy. Smart Strike, but I think it already had Iron Head. Dragon Dance on these guys, Zekrom, Reshiram, Kyurem getting Dragon Dance is nuts. And now Kyurem gets Icicle Spear, so this thing is going to be an absolute monster. And Freeze Dry. Kyurem Black is like the most broken thing ever. Pawniard and Bisharp lose knockoff. That's a big deal. That actually just like really kind of messes with them a little bit. Let's see what else here. Inkay Malamar getting a ton of moves, including Nasty Plot, Stored Power. That's kind of cool. Contrary is their thing, so it actually wouldn't work with those, right? It would be reversed, so I don't know. Pangoro getting Darkest Lariat is kind of nice. Also gets some other fighting moves. Meowstic getting Nasty Plot. Close Combat for Aegislash is kind of cool. Heliolisk getting Weather Ball. It gets Sunny Day. It gets Discharge. Gets a lot of cool options. Weather Ball being the best one because Heliolisk is like the ultimate weather Pokemon. So I really like that. Barbaracle getting a couple cool moves. Close Combat and Brave Bird on Hawlucha is very, very good. In fact, that's massive. Now you don't have to run High Jump Kick and Acrobatics. You can actually run Brave Bird, allowing it to kind of free up that move pool a little bit. Aromatisse getting Encore is kind of neat. Fake Tears isn't bad in VGC, by the way. Gourgeist, another example. It did already have fire moves, so Mystical Fire, not a big deal. Power Whip is kind of cool, though, so you can use something other than Seed Bomb. Trevenant getting Sucker Punch, not too big of a deal. Avalugg getting Aurora Veil now. Icicle Spear, Body Press, might be good because it's very good defense stat. Noivern getting Dragon Dance, another Pokemon that gets Dragon Dance. And then Goodra getting Hydro Pump, but I already previously had Surf anyway. Decidueye getting the knockoff line, which is cool. Incineroar getting Close Combat. Parting Shot is massive for Incineroar. In fact, this might make Incineroar one of the biggest threats ever. Having Intimidate, Fake Out, and Parting Shot could make this thing one of the biggest threats in competitive Pokemon, especially doubles. Primarina getting Calm Mind, very good to boost its stats. It's already a very specially defensive Pokemon, but Calm Mind leftovers Primarina could be very viable. Vikavolt getting Sticky Web is a big buff that I was excited about. I was hopeful that I was going to get it this game, and it does indeed have it. Being able to set up Sticky Web can slow the opponent down and make Vikavolt more of a bulky kind of pivot that supports the team as opposed to an offensive threat. Araquanid getting Hydro Pump is very interesting. I meant to run a calc on that. I would think that Hydro Pump from a neutral Araquanid or like max special attack Araquanid Hydro Pump would do probably a lot. If you were to compare it to like max attack Liquidation, I wouldn't be surprised if Hydro Pump does more because of its base power. Pollen Puff, really cool move that we talked about before. Again, Weather Ball, Draining Kiss for Shiinotic, which might not be bad considering Strength Sap and stuff. Oranguru getting some cool options, including Encore, which is really the main one. Oranguru, of course, having its Instructability or move. Passimian gets some better moves as well, but nothing too crazy. Salazzle getting Fire Lash is really nice because that's just a really good move. It's a fire type move that lowers defense on the opponent. Also getting Dragon Dance and Flare Blades for a physical set, but generally you're gonna run a special set anyway. Beware getting Close Combat, again, not having to rely on superpower is really nice. Toxapex doesn't really matter there. Mirror Coat on Pyukumuku is pretty cool. Turtonator gets Rapid Spin, which gives it at least a little bit more viability. It can now remove hazards for the team. Golisopod getting Close Combat, again, very nice. Also getting nothing really worthwhile mentioning here. Togedemaru, unfortunately, no spikes. Bit of bummer there. Drampa getting Hydro Pump. Como-O getting Close Combat. And I guess it's got a new signature move called Clangorous Soul. I didn't know that, actually. That's very interesting. and then some legendaries here, right? So Volley getting Psychic Fangs, Lunala, Marshadow, Zeraora, etc. So that is the move changes there. So a handful of changes, handful of buffs. A lot of these Pokemon end up getting some pretty cool buffs. I think a lot of it with VGC in mind, with doubles in mind for sure, but definitely some great buffs and some changes to make some old Pokemon way more viable. I'm really excited about these changes, and I'm so excited for competitive Pokemon, guys. Expect to see a lot of guides, Wi-Fi battles, the whole nine right here on the channel. So hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Butterfree, go!